Right. And with that, I guess we are live. Okay. Hi there. Welcome to my kitchen on this snowy Sunday evening here in the middle of the latest snowmageddon. This is that big snowstorm they've been talking about for the last 2 weeks, the one that's going to end the world until the next one. Although I will say that we have so far had more snow at one time today than I think any time I've had in the 3.5 years since I moved here to New York. Yeah, we've had maybe about a foot of snow so far. And it's supposed to continue through the night. And that means, from the sound of it, we might actually have about 2 feet or so by tomorrow. And I have been in snowstorms with 2 feet and more, so this is not new to me, although, as I said, it's new since I moved here to New York. I think I'll do it this way. Cut these lengthwise as well. But things are not doing too bad. Maybe I shouldn't jinx myself, but so far I have not seen any signs of any power outages. So things are doing okay. The heat is working. About an hour ago, this kid from the neighborhood, about 20 or so, actually I've had 2 kids come up, ring on my doorbell and ask if they wanted to shovel. The first one I said it would probably be better to come back tomorrow. Then when the second one showed up, different kid, I changed my mind and let him go and shovel my walk in my driveway. He did an excellent job too, although it's already being covered up. I always forget something. Where did my... There it is. All right, now I gotta readjust this. Anyway, I'm just putting together a very basic mirepoix. We're gonna be having the usual celery, carrots, and onion. And that is what we will be using to help prepare some beef cheeks. I posted about this on Facebook yesterday. Wet. In that I went to... we are vertical, aren't we? I thought I was going to make this horizontal. Ugh. Oh well. Anyway. Okay. Yes, hello, William Hurd. Well, this just started. This should be interesting. Beef cheeks. Never heard of this. Yeah, I'd never heard of them either until I stumbled across them at Wally World yesterday. It's like I had everything all prepared for our big snow disaster. And I went out one more time to Wally World to get some extra Pepsi. In that, with the way I drink Pepsi, specifically Pepsi Zero, I figured I would run out by Tuesday. And I thought I should probably pick up just a few more so that technically I may not have to leave this house for a week. In that I have food, I did the laundry, and now I have enough to drink as well. So... as long as the internet holds up and I'm able to do my job, technically I may not have to leave the house. Of course, things always happen, but still. Anyway, I made one last trip out to Wally World yesterday and found the extra Pepsi, browsed the food aisles, and came across not one but 2 interesting pieces of meat. Which you are about to see in just a moment or so, because it is not taking long at all to do this chopping here. Only a very basic mirepoix. Done a carrot, well, roughly 1 carrot's worth. I've done a stalk of celery. And now, of course, as usual, time to chop up an onion. Although I keep thinking I should do the onion first because it can stain the knife. And yet I always forget that. Oh well. Just do what we have to do. And yeah, I know it's okay, so it's at Walmart. I mean, I suppose, yeah, since everybody wants to sell at Walmart because, they're the world's biggest retailer and all that, that does mean occasionally you can come across something unusual there. Even though they're an evil corporation and all that. But, so yes, I did just come across those beef cheeks. Boy, these things are not cutting as easy as I would have liked. That's all right. Okay. And like you said, I had never heard of them before either, which for me is a good excuse to give them a try. I've long had a mantra for at least the last 15 years or so, where I told myself, if I find myself saying I've never tried this before, then I have to try it. And that has resulted in my trying some very interesting foods, some of which I loved, I fell in love with. A couple, not so much. And actually, I'm a little bit apprehensive about this too, but not because it's beef cheek. All right. Actually, I probably don't need all of this onion. Even though onion is good, and it is going to shrink anyway. Okay. Get the rest of this stuff out. And then we get down to the fun stuff. By the way, on the stovetop, I have the Lodge USA Enamel Dutch oven heating up, because we're going to be doing some slow cooking, and the slow cooking involves a lot of wine. So, obviously, that means I have to use an enamel Dutch oven. Anyway, here it is. Let me give you a close-up of it. The part that kind of worried me is only the brand, Roomba Meats. They're the ones who usually sell imported stuff. But it was this brand, and I know I won't forget, that I bought beef kidney when about, 10 years or so ago, when I had an urge to try making steak and kidney pie, that British dish. And the kidney I found was by this brand. And let's just say I learned that no, I don't like kidney. So, but I mean, just because it's sold by the same brand, I mean, it's an entirely different piece of meat. It says beef cheek and not chuck. And actually, the two reasons why I got it was because I'd never heard of it before, and also the cost. Especially with the way beef prices have skyrocketed. This here says it's $4.76 a pound. Quite frankly, that's cheaper than most regular cuts of beef. So, both of which told me, okay, let's give it a try. And so, I looked up a basic recipe for preparing this, and there's really nothing to it. Let me put this underneath so this doesn't... Using this because, this package has some liquid in it, and I don't want to spill it all over the place. But let's open it up and see what it looks like. Carefully. Come on, you. There we go. And underneath, and come on. Okay. There it goes. Much better. Get this out. Flop. And here's the part that could very well get me a strike from YouTube because... Oh no! Blood! However, this is beef cheek. Doesn't smell so bad. It smells like beef. It doesn't have any unusual smell to it. Yeah, I can see that this is pretty much a scrap. Well, anyway, beef cheek, as I found out, where's my other knife? Here it is. Does in fact come from the cheek. And we're not talking about the butt cheek either. It is in fact part of the head of the cow or bull or steer or whatever kind of bovine this thing came from. And I learned from experience that with pork, the head of the animal is considered to be a very good source of meat. And I really did enjoy it when I made that time when I used when I boiled a pig's head and made hog head cheese. So that also kind of encouraged me that let's find out what the head of a cow tastes like. I'm actually looking forward to it. Now the recipe is just a very basic slow cooking recipe. There's really nothing to it. I mean, if you've done slow cooking at all, everything here is familiar. What I'm supposed to do is cut off the silver skin and the extra bits. And then from there, we just brown it. Add our mirepoix, some red wine, and some beef broth as well. And then we slow cook it for like about 3 to 4 hours. So that means this isn't going to be done till like about 8 o'clock tonight. That's all right. Maybe even 9 o'clock. I'm not in any rush, and I'm not feeling especially hungry anyway. So I'm not doing too badly. Come on. You know what? I'm probably using the wrong knife to trim this. This is supposed to be a boning and filleting knife. Got it used. I think I paid $5 for it. That's better. And anyway, I'm not a professional, as you can see. As I've said many times. There we go. Now it's working the way it's supposed to work. A fair amount of this seems to be fat, which is probably why it was selling so relatively cheap. I'm not sure if I might actually just throw all of this in the pot. If it's going to be slow cooking, surely the fat will dissolve. But anyway, okay, this is showing as vertical, isn't it? Anyway, you're using the wrong knife. Yes, exactly. I kind of figured as much. All right. Okay, well then let's get out the chef's knife in that case. But I'm not sure how much more I should trim. Because I'm thinking that this looks like fat with a little, maybe just a little bit of actual meat here. Maybe a little bit here, a little bit there. Anyway, the package said it was almost 2 pounds. So after trimming this little bit off, yeah, I know I'm ruining it. There he is. I would guess we're talking probably 1.5 pounds, which is not bad since I'm the only one here. I mean, if I was cooking for family, no, that would definitely not be enough. Anyway, after slow cooking, this may very well shrink anyway. There we go. Now I'm starting to get the hang of it. Yeah, let's do it this way. Regardless. Okay, what I am supposed to do though is brown it up. one last attempt here. I'm not a butcher, despite the fact that I'm butchering this. This is not... I've got a good knife, too. There we go. Now again, it's working the way it's supposed to. All right. Heck with it. As I said, I'm going to assume that it is all going to fall apart here. Oops, damn it. I'm really... Okay, orientation is locked. Rotate device back. Oh, good grief. I apologize, everyone. That's what I get for tripping over the camera. I keep telling myself I really should not do these lives on my phone. Okay, orientation is locked. I'm told... Okay, looks pretty lean. Just throw the whole thing in the pot or in the blender. Yeah, you've got a point there. All right. Actually, what I should do now is just simply cut up the rest of it. And you don't want to use metal for that. Oh, brother. Nah. Nuts. That was Miss Mobley's box of treats. Okay, enough of that. Let's just do some slicing here. A little bit here, a little bit there. It'll all work out. And anyway, I'm the one who's going to be eating it. Don't need to get too small pieces. Okay, and then, okay, here's the actual meat. This is tough. I mean, this is a good knife. I'm definitely not going to treat this the way I treated that chuck steak the other day. You know, the one where everybody said I was doing it wrong because I cooked that chuck steak to medium rare. And I loved it. I have no doubt whatsoever that if I just simply cook this to medium rare, it is going to be what everyone said the chuck steak would be. A chewing exercise. This is tough stuff. There we go. Also there, sitting right next to this, was a huge package of beef tongue. But it was definitely much more expensive than this beef cheek, so I did not feel like it. Also, I have not had much luck with tongue. Last time I tried having tongue, it was, I don't know, it had a fatty taste to it. And I had bought the tongue from a professional meat market, too. I mean, it had been cooked already. All right, there we go. So anyway, based on all that, we do have some meat. Still have this message here saying orientation locked. Okay. Is it safe to buy vintage cast iron skillets off eBay and other platforms? Wondering how often they are tested for lead. Generally, yes, it's safe to buy vintage cast iron off of eBay, because the odds of any particular cast iron pan, modern or vintage, testing positive for lead is extremely small. It has been known to happen, and it really depends on the situation, as well as the type of pan you're buying. In that, even though we have seen videos of people melting lead in just about anything, in skillets, cornstick pans, muffin pans, even Dutch ovens, I would hazard a guess that it is, again, the odds are very, very low that any unknown cast iron pan bought off of eBay would actually have lead residue on them. I've bought off of eBay a number of times, and so I would say test for lead if you have reason to be suspicious. That's probably my best advice about that, I guess. Yeah, I'll take some tongue. Okay, I'm still getting this message here. Orientation is locked. Rotate device back. Why is it always something when I try? Anyway, okay. Now that I've wasted all this time, let's actually go and take a look at some cast iron, shall we? Okay. Now, come on. Why is this saying rotate device back? Let's do this. There. At least that got rid of the message. Oh, come on. What the hell? Still says orientation is locked. Rotate device back. I wanted this to be a horizontal video. Ugh. Anyway, let me try that one more time, and then I'll be done with the roller coaster. Yeah, it is. Okay. As soon as I put it down, the message comes back. What the hell? I'm gotta be missing something. I very much apologize. Yet again, I seem to have messed up. I've been doing this for over 5 years, and rare does a video go by where I don't mess up. Quite frankly, I'm amazed that folks have been kind enough to... Oh, what now? The hell? Son of a... I do apologize, everyone. I've just ruined this, haven't I? Let's do that again. Ugh. Son of a... This is driving me up the wall here. It looks like you put your ear on the table. Oh, what? Okay. Gives your videos personality. Well, you're much kinder than some of the comments. Okay. I'm not going to spend forever doing this. Just don't know why. What I did. All I did was bump this. And I've had this message for like the last 20 minutes. Orientation is locked. Please rotate device back. Only it doesn't say please. All right. Never mind. The show must go on. Even though this is... Okay. You win, YouTube. All right. Okay. Back to business here. Anyway, if not... Oh, please don't tell me this. I forgot to turn on the stovetop all this time. I did remember to preheat the oven, but I forgot to turn on the stovetop. I'm about ready to stop and start again. Okay. Nonetheless. All right. Yeah, that's better. Yes, exactly. Well, it's not good. I wanted this to be a horizontal video. I wanted to download this so that I could edit it into a proper YouTube video, and now that's just not working. Oh well. As I said, the show must go on. Be that as it may. Anyway. Okay, if nothing else, let's take a look at some cast iron here. Because here we have, as I mentioned, the Lodge USA enameled Dutch oven. This is their largest one, in fact. They're 7-quart size. And since they have since discontinued the USA Enamel line, they're never going to have a larger one. But nonetheless, I have had this now for a little more than a year. I have been treating it with kid gloves, and so it is still in good condition. I'm looking forward to using it for hopefully several more years. Even though, I mean, I understand one of the problems Lodge had. They said that there was some difficulty with the enamel, in that even I could see there's a very, very slight discoloration in the enamel right at this part where my finger is. Not that that keeps it from cooking well, that is. Because I have made several dishes in this, and they have all turned out excellent, as is usual for Lodge cast iron. Nonetheless, oh, one thing I forgot. Okay, once we get this thing hot enough, then, of course, we need to brown up the beef, and that's exactly what I'm waiting for right now. This is still cool to the touch, but I swear, maybe I need a manager for this channel or something, just to help keep me from screwing up all the time. Okay, okay, as you can see right now, we are just beginning to pass 300 degrees here, which means we're only a little more than halfway to searing temperature, in that I always try to get my pans to about 450 to 500 in order to properly sear, to sear meat. Do you prefer cooking on raw cast iron or enamel, or does it depend on what you are cooking? It definitely depends on what you are cooking. If I was going to sear up a steak, for instance, I would absolutely reach for raw cast iron. The main reason why I'm using an enameled pot is because I'm going to be cooking with a lot of wine tonight. I went out to the liquor store yesterday evening and immediately looked for the cheapest red wine that I could find. Bold and rich, your weeknight fix. Yes, it says fix. It doesn't say F-U-X. Because when it comes to cooking, it's perfectly okay to use cheap wine, or cheap alcohol for that matter. I am nowhere near enough of an expert in drinking, in that I think the last time I had anything to drink was maybe close to a year ago, to be able to discern the taste between cheap wine and a really good expensive wine. So for me, just cooking with cheap wine is more than enough. Saves some cost that way too. Yes, cheers. All right. We are now, that's the other thing. This thing definitely heats up. Oh, we're getting better. We're starting to get over 400 degrees now. But this thing definitely heats up slower than bare cast iron, obviously, because the heat has to transfer through the enamel as well as heating up the cast iron. So I can only apologize that I forgot. I put this on the oven, on the stovetop, and I forgot to heat it up, which is what I should have been doing while I was cutting up those vegetables and the meat. Nonetheless, click the right bottom corner with the arrow. Oh, yes, that's the share. Well, thank you very much, William Hurt. Hello, Calamity Jane, and nice to see you here this evening, and likewise to Silva579, and hello to Girl Dad Cooking Up Deliciousness. You probably would do a better job than I'm doing here, even though this is going to be a very basic slow cook anyway. Here in Canada, they don't sell wine at the grocery store, so I have to buy the non-alcoholic one in the grocery store. Ugh. No, I would not recommend cooking wine. But the only thing I really see for cooking wine that people actually cook with is that Chinese cooking wine that they use in the with Chinese stir fries and Chinese dishes. But yeah, when I want to cook with alcohol, I make sure to head to the liquor store, preferably the discount section. I can always find some interesting and cheap red or white wine or just about anything I can get there in the discount section. When it comes to other things like brandy or rum, well, then I have to pay a little bit more. Unfortunately, I'm a 3-week subscription. Okay. Oh, I see. That's yeah. Sorry, that was a mistake. My apologies there. No, it's the expand pick double arrow. I'm looking at my phone right now. I thought I tried all of them and I don't see the double arrow. I mean, there's the one to flip the camera, microphone, but I do not see a double arrow, unfortunately. Okay, appreciate it, but there is no arrow in the bottom corner. Yes, exactly, only the share button. It's a regular wine, it's okay. And actually, while I'm wasting my time here, I should actually open up this wine so that I won't have to struggle to open it when it is ready to be added. So, yeah, definitely not a bad thing to do because, okay, let's do this right. Come on, you know what? Because I'm not seeing any perforation other than this one right here. There it is. You can tell this is cheap wine for precisely that reason. I wouldn't even be surprised if it just has a screw-on cap and not a cork. Oh, I might be wrong. I think I can see a cork under this. Nope, there's definitely a cork. Okay. Somewhere in here. Oh, please. I know I have a corkscrew. Oh, please tell me I did not give away my corkscrew. Now I'm definitely glad I decided to look now and not when I was ready to add the wine. Oh, here it is. In the back of the drawer. I'm good. Yeah, I just got out of an interesting social situation that I don't talk about, but it ended up with a number of small items no longer here in my home. Now what? Oh, okay. There we go. That shows you again how long it's been since I've drank, because I even had trouble remembering how to use a corkscrew. But there we go. Didn't even pop. So for the time being, now that I've done that, let's get this cork out of here. Oh, come on, now what? Seriously? I don't want to jab my hand either. Okay, now we've got it at last. Okay. Ah, yes, and there. Now I'm ready. And it should be just in time, too, because now that I've wasted all that time, I can actually feel some heat here in this handle. It's not hot enough to burn me. but I notice I'm getting some discoloration on the bottom. So I'd say this is hot enough. Oh yeah, it's definitely hot enough, all right. I've talked a lot, and we are definitely past searing temperature. I hope I haven't permanently damaged the enamel, in fact. But I guess we are about to find out. Oh, now what? There we go. All right, less talking, more cooking, shall we? I'm disorganized I am tonight. Okay, at long last. Praise the Lord, everyone. In it goes. And yes, I know, I've already been told several times I need to level my stove. That, unfortunately, is another project I'm going to have to do. Ooh. This thing about this lard, it's spitting. And at long last, let's cook some meat. This is a big cast iron pot, and it's big enough to fit all of this meat without crowding the pot. So I'm actually happy about that. You can actually use a hammer. The trick is to hit the cork inside the bottle. Yeah, cute. I had to do it once. Fanny and Flo are the best local leaf lard you can buy. It's enamel. Yes, it is enamel. I'm using an enamel pot. And I can only hope, as I said, I haven't permanently discolored the enamel just now. But even if I have, I'm going to keep on using this. Nonetheless, it's definitely hot enough to successfully brown this meat. Nice smell, too. It's definitely the smell of beef. Nothing unusual about that. Might have to dig out tongs. Turn each piece over. So unlike that kidney, I have little doubt this is going to taste good. And for once, I'm not sticking my hand directly in front of the camera. That's a bonus. That is a habit I have been trying to break. All right. Once again, this is beef cheek. Not chuck, but cheek. It actually comes from the cheek. You know, the part that's right on your face, or the cow's face. Because as far as meat cattle goes, this is just like pork. They use every bit except the moo. Yeah, this is not looking so bad. I threw it all in, as you suggested. And I'm not too worried about that right now, because it's beef. And beef is delicious. Okay, where's the seasoning? Well, at this point, all I'm doing is browning it. I'm actually about to take this out and start putting in, well, the seasoning, starting with the mirepoix. Okay, so that means next, got to dig out a metal dish. Has to be metal because this is hot. Yeah, one of many lessons I learned. It's a good idea after you brown your meat, take it out or reserve it, as they say, because that makes it much easier to saute your vegetables and other ingredients. Which is what we're about to do. And besides, we got all of this extra oil now, some of the rendered fat and the rest of that lard, and in this goes. Using a wooden spatula or wooden spoon in this case, because that's the thing I've noticed. Many of these professional cooking channels abuse their enamel cast iron. They all have one cast iron pan, usually Asian made. Some of them have Lodge. They all have one enameled Dutch oven, usually Asian made, sometimes Lodge. And yet they almost always use metal utensils all the time on their enameled cast iron. And the reason why we don't use metal utensils on cast iron, well, pretty obvious. We don't want to scratch the enamel, or worse. So by only using wooden utensils or silicone, I hope to extend the lifespan of this enameled cast iron pot. You're still supposed to season before browning. Season at all stages of cooking. Okay, that's a point. I will accept your point there. I did add salt and pepper. A little bit of butter doesn't sound like a bad idea, because that's what Julia would do. Yes, and I only have to use Julia's first name because you know who we're talking about here. In fact, this, if I were using Burgundy rather than red wine here, I would essentially be making bœuf bourguignon, or beef bourguignon. Bœuf bourguignon, there we go. That's how it's pronounced. Which actually, now that I think of it, doesn't sound like too bad of an idea. Maybe I should have gotten some Burgundy instead of that red wine. And the Burgundy was cheap, too. I distinctly remember seeing a big jug of Burgundy for about 20 bucks at the liquor store last night. Well, that's yet another thing to consider. Namely that if you have the opportunity to score some beef cheek, use it to make beef or bœuf bourguignon. Because that stuff is wonderful. There's a reason why it is Julia's signature dish. What, yes, JD, what would Julia do? Well, Julia, at this point, would probably be pouring some of the wine into a glass herself. After all, as she says, never cook with a wine that you're not willing to drink. And that is another reason why I do not encourage the use, for whatever that's worth, if you trust my word, I do not encourage the use of cooking wines bought from the grocery store. Besides, the cooking wines are not even, well, they're a little bit less expensive than the cheap wine that I'm using here tonight. So all things considered, that all really gives very little reason to use that cooking wine. Just watched Julia and Julia last night. You know, I have not seen that movie. yet. On the other hand, I have seen Anti-Chef. I'm sure you've seen that very popular cooking channel of this guy who's basically has taught himself how to cook using Julia Child's well, cookbooks. He's a lot of fun because he messes up in his kitchen a lot. I think my screw-ups are worse though, but he is I guess the best word is he's very human. And I will definitely have to keep that in mind too when I mess up like I do every time. Alright, beef cheek tastes like pot roast, which is why we are making this in a manner very similar to pot roast. I mean, there's really nothing to this. We're almost ready to put it in the oven already because let's put the beef back in. And then, as you say, add the seasoning. I added a little bit of salt and pepper. Should probably add a little bit more. Well, maybe not too much more of the salt. But no shortage of pepper. Again, I recommend if you have any kind of a foreign market in your area, like an India market or a Spanish market or a Chinese market, buy your ground pepper there because you can usually find coarse ground pepper as opposed to the powdery stuff that you get at Wally World. All right, we've done this much. Now from here, throw in a little bit of rosemary, not much. A little bit of thyme. Oh yeah, yet another thing. I know, why do I keep going off on a tangent? However, is it just me or has dried thyme been harder to find than usual for ever since the pandemic, for the last few years? They don't sell it regularly now at Wally World or Dollar Tree, unless you want to buy the expensive stuff, the stuff by McCormick, which, quite frankly, is a ripoff. I mean, McCormick, really, it's good stuff, but they intentionally price gouge. And I refuse to buy McCormick for precisely that reason. Instead, I make a point of trying to get my spices elsewhere, like Ocean State Job Lot or, as I mentioned, the local India market. Okay, now to this. Let's throw in some minced garlic. You know, the stuff that no chef is ever supposed to use. You're always, I mean, you know, this stuff is bad. It's blasphemy. You're only supposed to crush and mince your own garlic. So I just failed culinary school. And yet another thing I should have done in advance. Opened a little can of tomato paste. Oh, this will only take a few seconds. And yeah, I'm being stupid by opening it this way. All right. Here we go. Throw in some tomato paste. And later on, after the video is done, I'm going to finish off the jar, this little bit of tomato paste myself, because I love tomatoes and I love tomato paste. Anyway, again, as I said, this is all very basic stuff. I mean, really. You know, I learned it all. I'm self-taught when it comes to cooking, but this is one of the first things, really, that anybody does when they learn how to cook. Namely, how to properly slow cook. I mean, yes, you can just simply toss everything into a crock pot and turn it on and let it sit and it will work. But making this little bit of effort goes a long way. Along with basil, chives, etc. Yes, exactly. Hello, R.T. Scott. You're macerating it. Quit doing that. Okay. Well, at this point, we're about ready to add the liquid anyway. Which means... Actually, let's spread this out evenly. Great. I got that cork on. And now I can't get that cork back out. Oh, all right. Hello again. Hello again, Mr. Corkscrew. Seriously? Oh, come on. You gotta be kidding me. Ugh. And no, I'm very much aware that I could just accidentally spill this wine all over the place. So I'm being as careful as I can. Son of a... got it. Finally. All right. At last. Hold on. Okay. At last. This is the part that's been building up. In goes the wine. And to this, let's throw in some beef broth I've had in the fridge. Turn off the heat. Cover the pot. And into the oven we go, or it goes. I've made this much harder than it really is. So as usual, you could probably use, oh, yeah, no, it'll fit. Oh. Seriously, let's close this again. Gloves. You could probably use my channel as an example of how not to make this. In we go. Yes, it fits. Haha. The oven, for the record, is heated up to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Now that it's finally done, I get to clean up my mess and relax so that by about 9:30 this evening, it will be ready. But that's all right. As I said, I wasn't very hungry right now. I'm not starving. If I was, I probably would have done this at noon. No Worcestershire. I probably could have put Worcestershire into it. But the real point, of course, is to slow cook the beef until it falls apart. Just the same as if you were making a pot roast using chuck or brisket or any tough piece of stewing meat, which is basically what we're doing here with this beef cheek. And that's about it. So, if nothing else, despite my clownish efforts, we managed to get this into the oven. And once again, that is beef cheek. Not chuck, but cheek. I got it, well, number one, because I'd never tried it before, but number two, because it was inexpensive. Because, everybody has to be looking for bargains these days. It was, what was it, like about $4.75 a pound, which is cheaper than just about any cut of beef you're going to get at the supermarket these days, including stewing beef or chuck or top round or anything like that. So I feel like I got a bargain there. Scored a 3-notch lodge at Goodwill for $9.09. Nice! Nice deal there. It will be incredible when complete. Yes, I'm definitely looking forward to it because I live by myself and this should easily be enough, I think, for the next couple of days. The thing is, once it comes out of the oven and the beef is ready to be shredded apart, what I'm supposed to do and what I'm looking forward to doing is to take my immersion blender and puree all the rest of the drippings, all the rest of those softened veggies and the liquid and everything. And then reduce it all into a nice sauce. And once that is done, then dinner will be served. So, what can I say? This is basically an exercise in how to slow cook. Other than the fact that I screwed up the camera, I had trouble opening the wine, I forgot to heat up the pot, and I did not do the best job cutting up the meat. Yet despite that, we got it into the oven. And the results will definitely be worth it, especially since the meat was not that expensive. So, I guess all we can do at this point is enjoy ourselves, enjoy the evening, because it's a little past 6 here on the East Coast. By the time this storm is finished, we're probably going to have another foot of snow on the ground tomorrow. However, I think it's likely that that kid will probably come back tomorrow to do another job. So, hey, I might get all of this shoveled without having to shovel myself. Not that I mind. I like to think I've done a pretty good job shoveling, but hey, I won't complain. To all of the rest of you, though, going through this storm, as you know, be careful. I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're not having power problems or other problems, because including freezing, frozen pipes or the like, because that's the other thing. As you know, we've got bitter cold temperatures here. Here in New York, for instance, the temperature is in the single digits, and I know out in the Midwest, you folks are probably talking like about anywhere from 10 degrees to 20 degrees below zero. So be careful, everyone, and just stay indoors and cook. Cook with your family, cook by yourself. It'll help keep the house warm. You'll have a lot of fun, and you'll have something to eat. Yeah, some biscuits would be bomb with that. That sounds good. Yes, 10 degrees in Western New York. Yes, exactly, Val. I hope you're not... I hope you're not getting as hard hit as we are. Val, as I mentioned, this is the most snow I've seen since I moved here to New York. However, as a former New Englander, I have seen massive blizzards, so it's not new to me. I'm used to it, but it's still an experience because, again, it's the first time for me in a few years. 12 plus inches of snow in southern Illinois. All right, -8 tonight, RT Scott. Well, do keep warm, and that includes your pets. Whether you have indoor or outdoor pets, make sure they're warm. Miss Mobley has been living on my electric blanket, so she is doing fine. I have a wife named Val and a tuxedo cat. Well, make sure they are both warm tonight. And I won't give any other description other than warm. But having said all that, thank you very much to everybody, though, for hanging on. Yeah, Kitty's on the bed. Yeah, I know. You know, it's like when I first got my cats, I did get them a cat bed. They never touched it, not once. They just live on the bed, and I don't mind that at all. But yes, have a good night, everybody. I mean, enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Oh yeah, tonight is the AFC Championship game where the New England Patriots have come roaring back. Though I understand they might be underdogs tonight. But either way, well, may the best team win. I mean, we didn't think the Patriots would get this far, so whatever happens tonight, we're going to be happy. And so, likewise to everybody, yeah, well, thank you. Yes, thank you very much for being here, Val. And as always, I'm very glad for all of you folks to be here because this does make it a lot of fun, screw ups and otherwise. So be good, be safe, and have a good evening, folks. Catch you later, and have fun.